Conservative media viewers, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion, the super genius, and the political expert, joined by Paula Villarreal by phone. Now, I got to warn you right now, actually in the middle of moving here, but there's so much stuff I want to talk to you guys about it, so you may hear Solomon and some clanging in the background, different stuff like that. So I'll leave as a surprise of what's going on next for later, but very excited about it. Should be really cool. I wanted to start something new here. What I wanted to do here is to have a more active conversation, kind of like when I was doing my talk shows, about sort of the top sort of news or political kinds of things going out there and our reaction to it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it, maybe JDV's top three. I'm not quite sure yet, but I wanted to start right now because there's so much stuff going on right now. Paul, let's talk about this. Topic number one that I think has been, really the biggest discussion. It's what's going on with Donald Trump's potential selection of Mitt Romney as Secretary of State. And let's just widen that out even more. And let's talk about, whom he may select as Secretary of State. I know in the mix he's been talking about General Petraeus, Mayor Giuliani, Governor Romney, I think it's Secretary Bolton, and then I'm missing someone else. I can't believe this. I just worked out and stuff like that. I had to go get some packing stuff. There's a fourth one. Yes. Senator Corker, I think that's right. Senate Foreign Services Committee or something like that. So what is your reaction? What's your take on what's going on with the whole Secretary of State process and Governor Romney in particular, whom, as I put up on Facebook, and I had this really long post on Facebook that I think, maybe some people looked at. I've got a lot of heavy hitters on my Facebook, and I had a really in-depth sort of reaction analysis to that. And I think maybe some people, have picked up on some of those things. But Governor Romney had made a speech, and it was in the springtime. I want to say March. I might be wrong about that. Governor Romney was seen as, in my opinion, as maybe one of the stronger critics of candidate Trump at the time. Now, before he was, in the primary and stuff like that, and you had, of course, you had the Never Trump movement out there, and you had Kellyanne Conway's comments about, maybe some supporters potentially feeling of Donald Trump, President-elect Trump, feeling betrayed. Paul, what's your take on that, on this whole thing with Governor Romney and the Secretary of State?
Yeah, look, it's a very interesting phenomenon. I think a lot of people wouldn't have believed that Trump would even consider Romney. I actually personally was like, well, okay, it kind of shows that Donald Trump is gracious and he's willing to consider all parties, no matter what the backdrop was, what happened during the campaign. But as we've kind of gone along here, it seems like Romney maybe is getting less and less of a realistic chance of getting the kind of nod from Donald Trump. But look, I think for the American people, I think it shows a positive version of Donald Trump. He's shown that he will talk with people, even people that have been critical of him, and he's willing to consider various options. I personally kind of have been favorable towards General Petraeus, but Mitt Romney, of course, is in the mix.
So I will refer people to my Facebook post, so you can check that out, because I have more time to delve into that. And being that we're moving tonight, a little short on time tonight. In fact, we will put links. If you haven't subscribed to our channel right now, please go down and subscribe to it. We'll put some other links to the Conservative Media Facebook group. I think Paul's got a link for our Twitter, and then you can even put a link to my my own Facebook page if you want to take a look at what I wrote there. I think that it's kind of interesting. On Hardball, Chris Matthews was saying that I think his words were, if I'm remembering correctly, that Mitt Romney didn't do a 180, he did a 360. In 2012, he got was seeking Trump's endorsement, and then he had his comments earlier this year. That seemed to be critical of Trump, and now he's said some nice thing. He's met with Donald Trump twice and said some nice thing about Donald Trump, last night after the dinner. So it's here's where I want to go with it. It's a lot that's been discussed on it, and we have to be tight on this one. To me, the real implications are beyond what I've already said on my Facebook post. Are what do you think, Paul, this does for the Never Trumpers? Number one. Number two, what do you think this does for the image of Mitt Romney? Number three, what do you think this does for the image of Donald Trump and the transition? And number four, how do you, and that will transition into the next part of this, how do you stack up Governor Romney versus the other folks that are in consideration for, I believe we're down to, again, I said a top five now with Petraeus, Corker, Bolton, Romney, and Giuliani. What do you think about those things?
I think for the Never Trumpers, it does show them in a certain way, as supposedly the opposition was all about principles. You can't trust Donald Trump, and he's not ready for the big stage. And now to have kind of the head figure of the Never Trumpers looking to be able to serve in the administration kind of puts a lie to that, I guess. It's like, well, if it was all about principles, then why is Mitt Romney trying to be Secretary of State? That's kind of what I think about the Never Trumpers and Mitt Romney in particular. It seems to kind of take their argument that they were trying to make totally away. As far as Donald Trump, I think it makes him look courageous. I think it makes him look prudent. I think he's willing to examine everybody, including somebody that was affiliated with the Never Trumpers. And in terms of qualifications, I'd be more favorable to somebody like a General Petraeus, or somebody with more kind of foreign policy and worldly experience than somebody like Mitt Romney, who was just more kind of domestic governor and more in the financial sector.
Although admittedly, he did a great job with Salt Lake City Olympics and stuff like that. Now, is that I mean, obviously there's clearly an international connection and flavor there, but is that more sort of management and organization stuff? How much of that is diplomacy? We can have a discussion on that. I mean, listen, as I said in my Facebook post, Mitt Romney, very accomplished, very smart, very successful business person, knows how to do a lot of things. I think that he is patriotic. I think that he wants to help serve his country and stuff like that. But then we also have, a lot of other, critiques that can be made and stuff like that. And I think that I agree with you in that this to me, and I don't know how you characterize Governor Romney. I don't know if he was ever officially part of the Never Trump movement or anything like that. I don't know I don't know how to characterize it, but he had a strong critique of candidate Trump, and the Never Trumpers obviously, were on the stronger cheek. So a lot of people, talked about, the kind of, I don't know what you want to call it there, like-mindedness, if you will, in terms of the critique of Trump, in my opinion. Now, I think that I agree with you. I think this totally destroys the credibility of the Never Trumpers. I mean, I think because I don't care if you're talking whatever, you can name any name that you want. I think it totally destroys the credibility of the Never Trumpers, and I think that is just done. Now, in terms of who I want to see as Secretary of State, that's tough. You know what I mean? I don't understand. Why Romney would be such a great pick for Secretary of State. I'm not saying he wouldn't be, a strong asset somewhere. But, is it the VA administration? Although Governor Palin now they talked about her for that. Is it, we have Munchin here at Treasury. I would have thought maybe Treasury or OMB or, something, maybe, some kind of budgetary or some kind of tax policy. I don't know. I could have seen him at different spots, but, I don't know. I mean, it's just, that's a whole different discussion. As far as like you said, General Petraeus, I think, is a very strong candidate for Secretary of State. Bolton, that's interesting. Corker is a different kind of. I mean, that's sort of a different twist too. Then of course you've got Mayor Giuliani. I think. I don't know. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's a tough one. And so I agree with what Donald Trump's doing. I think you need to discuss things with these people. I think you need to think about it. I think you need to talk with your team about it. I don't think that, to me, there's not like a clear-cut favorite there. I think the strength of Petraeus is that I think he's used to executing the orders from the top. I think he's a scholar general. I think he's really smart. I think he's someone that's dedicated, focused, stuff like that. Obviously has experience in the international stage. I think there's a lot of positives there. Some people would say maybe we're getting too many generals. I think with Mayor Giuliani, I think if you're mayor of New York, you deal with a lot of international stuff. You've got the UN right there. I think Mayor Giuliani has been around the world. I think Mayor Giuliani has been a great advocate for President-elect Trump during the campaign and ever since. I also think that Mayor Giuliani has a certain way of a powerful ability to communicate and cut through the noise and stuff like that. There's some people that have their criticisms of Mayor Giuliani, but I think that I remember when I was in Florida, I covered a speech by Mayor Giuliani. I think he did a great job. It was powerful. We had that video up on our channel. I think Mayor Giuliani, definitely has leadership, ability and stuff like that. Bolton, I think, would be a real sort of a lot of conservatives would like that. Clearly has international experience with the UN and stuff like that. I think that it definitely would go with that conservative, the right, make America great type of thing. But is that too aggressive as a push as a top debate? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that I would agree with that, but I'm saying that some people might say that. That there would be pushback by Democrats, on confirmation on that one. And then Corker and Romney are more, Corker seems like a cool dude, but I just don't know, if that's bringing. I mean, I don't think that has the same kind of name value and impact. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. But I think that he would be someone that would execute, Trump's policy. I think the concern with Romney is Romney has clearly one of the top, has one of Trump's job for a while, and was a strong critic of Trump. And is he going to be? I think that one of the questions out there is, would Romney be the best advocate for Donald Trump's policy on the world stage? I guess is the question. Any quick thoughts on that?
I agree with what you're saying. I think I personally like. I like Petraeus and Giuliani a lot. I think what you're saying about Corker is correct. But again, the name doesn't have the same pop. Certainly, there would be questions with many as regards Secretary Bolton. I think in terms of his aggressive, too aggressive on the international stage. I think you make pretty good points there, and it is good that President-elect Trump is taking his time sorting through these guys, getting feedback, seeing what the general public has to say about different people as well.
If you take the Romney pick at face value, I think that the value that Trump would see in Romney, in my opinion, is here's someone at Bain Capital, which is a very successful firm, stuff like that, knows how to make deals. And I think Trump, in regards to the international stuff, whether it's treaties, the trade impact, I think Trump's very economically focused. He would want a deal maker there that would have the strength. I mean, Trump was obviously extremely critical of the Iran deal, for instance, and stuff like that. So I think that he sees someone like Romney as potentially having that deal-making capability, and I think that was, if you take it at face value, I think that's the attraction of Governor Romney. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah. I think whatever differences between the two men exist, I think that Trump recognizes Mitt's expertise in terms of deal making and from financial
and operational,
and that Mitt can execute at that level.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that? Let us know. I'm going to put a poll up here so you can, tell us who you think. Who do you favor for Secretary of State? Giuliani, both of the top 5 that we know now, and hey, don't. who knows? Trump might surprise everybody with someone that we haven't been talking about. But of the top 5 that we have been told by the media out there are in that top 5, Bolton, Petraeus, Corker, Giuliani, Romney. Who do you favor? You let us know. Take the poll. Let us know what you think about that, and obviously give us the comments below, and we'll try to respond to that. Now, let's move on to the transition in general. Paul, what do you think about this transition in general? I mean, there's a lot of people. There's the critics on the left are saying, hey, there's a lot of billionaires named here. Trump talked about draining the swamp, stuff like that. He's naming a lot of billionaires, a lot of heavy hitters. This guy from Goldman Sachs, Munchin, DeVos, Eric Ricketson, are in the mix of there. Wilbur Ross. I mean, here's my take on it, because I want to be a little tight on time here as I got to get back to the movie. I don't think this is about, to me, I don't think this is about, I think you have to look at this from a different analysis, because Donald Trump is a different kind of candidate and different kind of president-elect, and I think it's going to be a different kind of president. I don't think this has to do with insiders, outsiders. I don't think this has to do with Wall Street and things like that. I think this has to do with, remember, you go back to first principles. Donald Trump is a business person. He likes winners. He wants to win. I think he wants to get the best people that he can in there. And this is the kind of people he hangs out with. He's a billionaire. He hangs out with billionaires. And I think he sees these people as just people that can help get it done for him. So I think that he's trying to bring firepower in. It's like if he had a company, who do you want in there? And to him, in my opinion, he sees a billionaire, this person's successful. It's not just a money thing, but it's like in this field, Mr. Ross can do this, Munchin can do this, DeVos can do this. These are successful people that can get it done, that have the capability, the clout, and the firepower to get it done. That's my take on it. I don't think it has anything to do. I think it's a lot less sort of. I think obviously there's an element of ideology and philosophical values, like, okay, DeVos is championing these things, but I think a lot of it just has to do with, hey, this person's going to be good for this. It's more of a higher competency, higher type of thing, outlook, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I think, look, everybody that gets hired for an executive position, of course, they want to bring in people that they're familiar with and that they're comfortable with, that they know something about personally. I do think that fits some of these people that Trump's hiring, but I agree with you. I think it's about winners and people that are proven successes. Trump wants to get things done in office more so, I believe, than he wants to be an ideologue. He wants people that can accomplish things, that know how to get things accomplished, and that, I think, is what he's looking for. Plus, we also know in the transition that he's talked about the bans on the lobbying for people. So if you want to kind of drain the swamp or get some of that out of there, he's putting his words into action with that. I've been pretty encouraged by the transition so far. I think it's we're not seeing the same old retread names, and I think that's a good thing.
Right. I think a lot of people said a lot of good things about. There's some criticisms out there, but I think a lot of people are like, "Whoa, this is pretty impressive" and stuff. These are people that do it, and you can look at it different ways. You can say, okay, well, these are people with big money interests, and the tax cuts are going to help big money interests. But on the other hand, DeVos or Wilbur Ross, I mean, these people, they don't need to go lobbying. They're not, like these people already have, billions of dollars and stuff like that. It's a different sort of impact. Now, again, the criticism would be, well, they may have serious financial interests that would benefit so much more. But I mean, like, at what point? I mean, it's like President-elect Trump. I mean, obviously do everything right and ethical and stuff like that, but it's like people are like, oh, he's got to. I mean, dude, yes, do everything absolutely correctly and make sure you have the highest ethics and all that type of stuff. The guy has business interests in dozens of countries around the world. He's worth billions. That wasn't going to stop overnight. That doesn't. What do you want him to do? I mean, at a certain point, you know what I mean. So obviously they're going to address that. That's a whole different question and stuff like that. But I think that if you're going to get people of that caliber, they're going to have business interests. You're never going to find someone with billions of dollars that has zero interest and zero. It doesn't. You still have to work in the real world. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to say. So I'm pretty encouraged. I think it's a very impressive team. I think it's very interesting. I may have picked different people. I may have had different names, stuff like that. But I mean, this is what I love about this. Is these are very different moves. These are very different moves, and it's got people talking because it isn't the same old. It's like, oh, okay. we're going to take a Secretary Chow who was doing this, and we're going to switch over to this. We're talking to Governor Romney. We're talking, we're talking to. I think he talked to the Democrat from Hawaii. I mean, it's very interesting. Sarah Palin. I mean, there's a little something for everyone. And it's very interesting. I think this is a can-do presidency. I think the number one thing to me, the most important thing Donald Trump wants to do is succeed. And if he succeeds, then hopefully, America's going to succeed. This is Make America Great Again. I think, Donald Trump, if he, knowing his mentality, I actually met the guy once. I'm not saying I know him really well or anything like that, but we actually met at the 1998, I think I met the 1988 Republican National Convention in New Orleans, just off the floor. And really cool to me and everything like that, and it was awesome. I might tell that story, another time later. That's not the focus of this right now. Yeah, well, yeah, I got the art of the deal when I was a kid and stuff like that. Still in high school, I think. Can't remember. But I was young. But anyway, the point is, you don't run this campaign and succeed at the level that he succeeded at, and then go into the presidency and want to be a failure. That would ruin his legacy and stuff like that. This guy needs to succeed. He wants to succeed. He wants to be successful and stuff like that and do this. So I think so far so good. I think there was a chart I saw where he's actually, selected more people at this time than Obama has, stuff like that. And I don't know that means anything other than it's proceeding. So I don't think there's any problem with the speed of it. Of course, the proof is in the pudding, and we're all going to find out. But I was just thinking about this, Paul. It'd be great if Trump was able to do all these great conservative things, and I'm all for it, and I hope he can do it, and I believe that he can. That it's possible if the Congress gets behind him, but Washington's still Washington, so you're gonna need the Congress to get behind him and do that. But if he just appoints good Supreme Court judges, does great tax reform, including corporate tax reform, repeals and replaces Obamacare, if he just does those three things, that's enormous. Now, if you can do more than that, better trade deals, get great incentives going, get the economy booming again, great infrastructure, some kind of comprehensive immigration reform that respects our borders and gets safety for Americans and is fair to everyone, but still make sure that people understand this is the land of opportunity, this is the land of immigrants, and all that type of stuff. And we want the best and brightest from all over the world, and we're all for that. That's even better. I think this could be so good. And how do we know that other people agree with this? The stock market is booming, Paul.
Yeah, look, success isn't partisan. It's just success, and nobody cares if they're getting for a job. If you have a job saved or things preserved for them, they don't care who did, Republican or Democrat. And also what you were saying about Trump and business interest. And look, one of the things that so many people liked about Donald Trump, and I know that I was one who liked this, was this guy has enough money. He doesn't need to use government to get more money. This isn't a Clinton situation where you feel like their job is government. Sure, Donald Trump can bring in people that have various worldly business interests, but I feel like they're already set. They're cool. They can come in and concentrate on the job.
Yeah, Paul, hold on a second, all you guys. I see the camera here. I haven't deleted a lot of stuff. I think this camera's going to cough real short. So we're going to wrap it up here. I just want to say a real quick thing. The carrier thing is great. Donald Trump already did that, deal to keep carrier and the jobs here. I think that's big, especially the people that had jobs there. And was it the perfect deal? Who knows? We'll find out. But you know what? He did it. That's huge. And I'm sure Governor Pence was involved in that too, Indiana and everything like that. So that's a big win right there. He hasn't even started his presidency. He's already getting things done. So we love it. You tell us what you think right there. Quick.
It really reminds me of Atlas Shrugged, of Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, yes. Someone say something, go ahead.
You know who's John Gall?
Yes.
And he kidnapped all the successful people.
Sure.
It seems like Trump.
So Trump's got his own little thing, and now it's administration. Who knows? We're going to see what's up. Anyway, give us comments below. Please subscribe. Let's rate this video up. Thanks so much for watching. I'm John. That is Paul. That is Salma. You're watching Conservative Media. We'll see you next time.